All India Radio presents Morning News. Good morning, I am Tanvi Taneja. The headlines. India and South Korea express their commitment to further strengthen bilateral and international coordination against terrorism. Centre asks states to ensure security of people belonging to Jammu and Kashmir in the aftermath of Pulwama attack. Government assures to safeguard the interests of tribal people following Supreme Court's order regarding their forest rights. Pakistan government says it has taken over control of headquarters of terror outfit Jaish-e Mohammed. And Indian women shooters to begin their campaign in the ISSF Shooting World Cup in New Delhi today. India and South Korea have expressed their commitment to further strengthen bilateral and international coordination against terrorism. Addressing a joint press conference in Seoul after delegation-level talks with South Korean President Moon Jae-in, Prime Minister Narendra Modi said that the time has come for global community to move beyond words and act unitedly against the menace of terrorism.
भारत के गृह मंत्रालय और कोरिया की राष्ट्रीय पुलिस एजेंसी के बीच संपन्न हुआ एमओयू हमारे काउंटर टेररिज्म सहयोग को और आगे बढ़ाएगा और अब समय आ गया है कि वैश्विक समुदाय भी बातों से आगे बढ़कर इस समस्या के विरोध में एकजुट होकर कार्रवाई करें.
Mr. Modi, who was on a two-day visit to South Korea, thanked the Korean president for his support to India after the Pulwama terror attack. The Prime Minister also invited Korean companies to invest in defense industrial corridors in India. Mr. Modi said India and Korea are committed to take bilateral trade to $50 billion by 2030. The two countries signed 7 agreements, including in startups, international crimes and broadcasting. Mr. Modi was also conferred the prestigious Seoul Peace Prize 2018 for his contribution to international trade and fostering global economic growth. More from our correspondent.
After a short and memorable visit to the Republic of Korea, Prime Minister arrived in New Delhi last night. He had a very busy schedule in Seoul. Prime Minister Modi held constructive talks with President Moon on enhancing cooperation in trade and investment, defense and security, energy, startups and people-to-people exchanges. He said convergence of India's Act East policy and Korea's new Southern policy will further deepen special strategic partnership between the two countries. With Anshuman Mishra from Seoul, this is Rajkumar for AIR News, Delhi.
The Prime Minister will address the Global Business Summit in New Delhi today. Apart from Mr. Modi, Union Ministers Arun Jaitley, Piyush Goyal, Suresh Prabhu and Ravi Shankar Prasad will also address the summit to offer insights into the direction of future policy. The organizers said the two-day summit will also host business leaders and technology entrepreneurs from some of the most talked-about companies across the globe. Finance Minister Arun Jaitley has said that India will exercise all options, diplomatic or otherwise, to win a decisive battle against Pakistan, which is responsible for Pulwama terror attack. Addressing the Global Business Summit in New Delhi yesterday, Mr. Jaitley said, Pakistan is not acting against perpetrators of the attack, though the guilty have themselves admitted to it. Mr. Jaitley said,
the kind of anger which has been there, even on previous occasions, the one this time is unprecedented. There's a huge gap between the strengths of the two countries. And Pakistan doesn't learn. And therefore, without getting into the details, I think as the Prime Minister has said, India will exercise all instruments at its command, whether it is diplomatic or otherwise. And therefore, we have to act in a manner that this battle has to be decisively won by us.
The Prime Minister will address a public meeting at Tonk in Rajasthan today. Our correspondent reports that security has been stepped up ahead of Mr. Modi's rally in the state.
Ahead of Lok Sabha polls, this is the first visit of Prime Minister to the state. His next rally is scheduled at Churu on February 26. This rally is important for the BJP as party won just one assembly seat out of 8 seats falling under Tonk Savai Madhopur Lok Sabha seat in assembly election held in December. There are 6 Lok Sabha seats in eastern Rajasthan which are crucial for both BJP and Congress. Jitendra Dwivedi, AIR News, Jaipur.
The centre has asked all states to ensure security of people belonging to Jammu and Kashmir. This was conveyed by the Home Ministry in an advisory to all states following a directive of the Supreme Court, which took up a petition in this regard. The advisory said the state governments and Union Territory administrations are once again advised to take all necessary steps to prevent any act of assault, threat, intimidation, social boycott and so on against Kashmiris, including students as well as minorities. MHA sources said an advisory was issued on February 16th to all state governments and Union Territory administrations in this regard. The European Union, EU, has affirmed that it stands with India on combating terrorism and there are no differences between them on the issue. EU Ambassador Tomasz Kozłowski said in Kolkata that the EU is beside India in fighting terrorism or any act of terror regardless of the motivation. He was referring to the February 14th terror attack by Pakistan-based Jaish-e Mohammed at Pulwama in Jammu and Kashmir. Kozłowski told reporters that the Jaish-e Mohammed has been listed by the EU as a terror outfit along with Lashkar-e-Taiba and several others. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts. The government has assured to safeguard the interests of the tribal people following the Supreme Court's order regarding claims of forest rights by forest-dwelling tribals and other traditional forest dwellers. In a statement, the Tribal Affairs Ministry said the state governments are being sensitized from time to time to implement various provisions of the Forest Rights Act in letter and spirit. Last week, the Apex Court had asked 21 states to apprise it about the action taken by them over the issue of eviction of tribals and forest dwellers whose claim for the forest land have been rejected. The centre has asked the West Bengal government to refund money sanctioned under the Ayushman Bharat scheme as the state refused to implement it. According to sources, the National Health Authority has directed the state to refund 194 crore rupees with interest, which was released for implementation of the scheme. However, State Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee has refused to give the state's share in the implementation of Ayushman Bharat as the centre did not provide any financial assistance under state's own scheme, Swasthya Sathi. She said as a result of it, the Ayushman Bharat scheme could not be taken up in the state. The Aero India show that is on in Bengaluru is celebrating successful women professionals in the field of defence aviation. As a precursor to the focus theme, a seminar was organized yesterday on women in aviation. The successful women professionals from the field of aviation and defence spoke on how they succeeded in establishing themselves in the male-dominated profession. Captain Harpreet Singh, who is the first and only lady chief of flight safety approved by DGCA, shared her experience.
I became an instructor, I got into the simulators, grew in the airline into different areas. Everywhere that I went, I was breaking another glass ceiling. And I said, maybe this is what God wants me to do. They want me to break each and every door there where there was never a woman before.
The Pakistan government has said it has taken over the administrative control of terror outfit Jaish-e Mohammed JeM headquarters in Bahawalpur. The JeM claimed the responsibility for Pulwama terror attack that had killed 40 CRPF personnel in Jammu and Kashmir. The move came after the United Nations Security Council strongly condemned the February 14th terror attack. Information Minister Fawad Chaudhry said Punjab government has taken over the control of JeM campus in Bahawalpur and appointed an administrator to manage its affairs. The minister also said that the crackdown on JeM has been taken in line with the decision of the National Security Committee meeting held on Thursday under the chairmanship of Prime Minister Imran Khan. In Sudan, President Omar al-Bashir has declared a year-long state of emergency, dissolving his cabinet and local governments throughout the country. Omar al-Bashir, in a televised address yesterday, called on the parliament to postpone constitutional amendments that would allow him to run for another term in a presidential election in 2020. Bashir's announcement followed months of protest against his rule, with thousands of people taking to the streets across the country since December 19th. Omar al-Bashir's term ends in 2020. On to sports news now. Anjum Mudgil, Apurvi Chandela and Elavanil Vallaraivan will lead India's campaign in women's 10-meter air rifle event at the ISSF Shooting World Cup in New Delhi today. They are among the 102 competitors from 44 nations in the fray at the event. India have secured both the Olympic quotas in the event through Mudgil and Chandela at the World Championships last September. with the International Olympic Committee revoking the 2 quotas in the 25-meter rapid-fire pistol event owing to non-issuance of visas to Pakistan shooters. The tournament will now offer 14 quotas for the 2020 Olympic Games instead of the original 16. And now for an overview of today's newspapers, it's over to Saira Mujtaba.
Thank you, Tanvi. Prime Minister Narendra Modi being conferred the Seoul Peace Prize and Pakistan saying that it has taken over the Jaish-e Mohammed headquarters amid growing international pressure are some of the prominent stories covered by the papers this morning. Crackdown or an eyewash? Under global pressure, Pakistan Punjab takes over Jaish headquarters, headlines The Times of India. The paper adds, JeM chief out of complex in military safekeeping. The Indian Express writes, day after UNSC statement, Pakistan moves against Jaish facilities, sort of. The Indian Express also highlights that the UNSC's condemnation statement of the Pulwama terror attack was a major breakthrough for India's diplomacy. How first time UN talked of attack in J&K, Delhi worked phones in DC and Piching. The Pioneer's lead headline reads, Pakistan kept in Financial Action Task Force Grey Terror List. Under the caption, Terror Shadow on Cricket, the Financial Express reports, no decision on World Cup match with Pakistan scheduled for June 16 in England. The Hindu reports, Olympic dream under threat as visa is denied to 2 Pakistan shooters. The Times of India says, International Olympic Committee bars India from hosting sports events unless it ensures visas for all participants. The papers also carry photographs of Prime Minister Modi receiving the Seoul Peace Prize for 2018 for his contribution to international cooperation and fostering global economic growth. The Economic Times reports, Modi dedicated the $2 lakh prize money to the Namami Gange program. And finally, your used cooking oil could help fly a jet in the near future. The Hindu says that Dehradun-based Indian Institute of Petroleum has successfully tested the conversion of used edible oil into bio-aviation turbine fuel, which will help the aviation sector in reducing its carbon footprint. And with that, it's back to you, Tanvi.
Thank you, Saira. And now before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. India and South Korea expressed their commitment to further strengthen bilateral and international coordination against terrorism. Centre asked states to ensure security of people belonging to Jammu and Kashmir in the aftermath of Pulwama attack. Government assures to safeguard the interests of tribal people following Supreme Court's order regarding their forest rights. Pakistan government says it has taken over control of headquarters of terror outfit Jaish-e Mohammed. And Indian women shooters to begin their campaign in the ISSF Shooting World Cup in New Delhi today. And with that, we end the morning news. Have a nice day.